The Girl by the Lake. The lake was calm that evening. The water was like glass, and the last colors of the sunset lay on its surface. The forest around it was dark and deep, but the small open space near the lake felt safe, almost magical. Lena came here often. She liked to sit on a fallen tree, watch the sky change colors, and listen to the quiet sound of water. The village was noisy, and her family always asked for help at home. Here by the lake, she could breathe and dream. She dreamed of love. Not just any love, but something real, something soft and strong at the same time. She had never told anyone about it. People would laugh at her, but in her heart, she waited. She believed someone was out there, walking the same earth, maybe also looking for her. That night, as she walked closer to the lake, she saw someone. A boy stood near the water, throwing small stones into it. She stopped. She had never seen him before. He was tall, with light hair, and his clothes were simple but clean. He looked like someone who belonged to the forest. For a moment, Lena thought of turning back. But then the boy noticed her. He smiled gently. "Good evening," he said. His voice was calm, but there was something strong in it. "Good evening," Lena answered quietly. She held her shawl closer to her shoulders. The boy looked at the lake. "It's beautiful here." "I come when I need to think," Lena nodded. "I also come here. It's my secret place." He turned to her, a little surprised. "Maybe it is not so secret now," he said, and they both laughed softly. The laughter broke the silence between them, and it felt natural, like they had known each other for a long time. "My name is Adrian," he said. "Lena," she replied. They walked slowly along the edge of the lake. Adrian told her he had just come to the village to work with his uncle, who was a carpenter. He said he liked the forest, the smell of wood, and the quiet nights. Lena listened, and her heart began to beat faster. She told him about her small dreams, how she wanted to see the world beyond the forest, how she loved the stars, and how she sometimes wished she could fly like the birds. Adrian looked at her with eyes that seemed to understand. The sky grew darker, and the first stars appeared. A cool wind touched the water, and the lake shimmered. They both stood still, side by side, listening to the night. "It feels different when you are not alone," Adrian whispered. Lena felt warmth in her chest. She looked at him, and for a second, she saw her own dreams reflected in his eyes. The night wrapped them in silence, and in that moment, a story began. A story that neither of them expected, but both had secretly waited for. The moon was bright that night, shining like silver above the trees. Lena and Adrian walked slowly back toward the village. Their steps were quiet, and the sound of the forest wrapped around them. Soft wind, rustling leaves, a night bird calling far away. Lena felt shy. She wanted to ask Adrian many things, but her words stayed in her chest. Still, she felt safe near him, as if the forest itself wanted them to walk together. After a long silence, Adrian spoke. "I did not expect to meet someone tonight. I only came to the lake to think, but now it feels momentous different." Lena looked at him with curious eyes. "Different in a good way?" He smiled, and in the moonlight his face looked softer. "Yes, very good." They reached the old oak tree near the path. Its branches were wide, like arms protecting the place. Adrian stopped and touched the bark. "When I was a boy," he said, "my grandmother told me that old trees can keep secrets. If you tell them your wish, they will remember it forever." Lena laughed gently. "And did the trees ever answer you?" Adrian shook his head but smiled. "Not yet, but maybe they will." Lena touched the tree too. For a second, she closed her eyes. In her heart, she whispered a secret wish. "Let me see him again. Let this not be the last night." When she opened her eyes, Adrian was looking at her, almost as if he knew. Her cheeks grew warm, and she looked down at her hands. They walked on. The village lights were far but slowly growing closer. Soon they would have to part. A soft sadness touched Lena's heart. She wanted to stop time, to stay longer in the forest with him. At the small bridge near the river, they finally stopped. The water below moved quietly, reflecting the moonlight. "This is where our ways divide," Adrian said softly. "My uncle's house is that way." "And mine is over there," Lena whispered. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Adrian reached into his pocket and took out a small wooden charm. It was simple, in the shape of a leaf, smooth from his hand. "My uncle taught me how to carve this," he said, placing it carefully in Lena's palm. "Keep it, so you will not forget tonight." Lena held the charm, her fingers trembling. She wanted to say something, but words felt too small, so she only nodded. "Good night, Lena," Adrian whispered. "Good night, Adrian." She crossed the bridge and walked toward her home, but she looked back once. He was still standing there, watching her. The moonlight fell on him like a soft glow, and for Lena it felt like a dream she didn't want to wake from. That night, as she lay in her bed, she held the wooden charm close to her heart. She knew her life had changed. She didn't know how or what would happen next, but she felt it deep inside. Something had begun, and it was stronger than anything she had known before. The next day was long for Lena. She helped her mother in the garden, carried water from the well, and washed clothes by the river. But her thoughts were not with her hands. Again and again, she remembered Adrian's smile, his voice, the way the moonlight touched his face, and the little wooden charm. She kept it hidden in her pocket all day, touching it when no one was looking. Her mother noticed her silence. "You are dreaming too much, Lena," she said. "Your head is always in the clouds." Lena only smiled softly. She could not tell her mother about Adrian, not yet. When evening came, the sky turned orange and pink. Lena's heart beat faster. She wanted to go to the lake, but she didn't know if Adrian would come. What if it was only one night? What if she never saw him again? Still, her feet carried her to the path. The forest greeted her with the smell of pine and the soft sound of leaves. Step by step, she walked toward the lake. Her heart whispered, "Please let him be there." And then she saw him. Adrian stood near the water, waiting. When he noticed her, his face lit up, and Lena felt warmth spread through her chest. "You came," he said simply. "So did you," Lena answered, smiling. They sat together on the fallen tree near the lake. The evening was quiet, only the soft ripple of water breaking the silence. Adrian looked at the sky, where the first stars were waking. "Do you ever feel," he asked slowly, "that the forest is alive? That it watches us, listens to us?" Lena nodded. "Yes, I always felt that. When I was a child, I thought the trees were speaking to me in their own language." Adrian smiled. "Maybe they still do. Maybe tonight they are happy we are here." They talked for a long time, about dreams, about simple things, about small hopes for the future. Adrian told her he wanted to build something with his own hands one day, a home, strong and warm. Lena told him she wanted to see the sea, to hear the sound of waves. Their words were like small pieces of their hearts, given freely. As the night grew darker, Lena felt the same sadness as before. She didn't want to leave, but Adrian touched her hand very gently, as if afraid she might pull away. "Lena," he whispered, "can I see you again tomorrow?" Her heart almost stopped. She looked into his eyes and saw the same wish, the same quiet hope. "Yes," she whispered back. "Tomorrow." They walked back to the village under the silver light of the moon. And though the path was the same, it felt different now. Stronger, brighter, filled with something new. That night, as Lena lay in bed, She did not feel lonely anymore. The world outside might be the same, but inside her, everything had changed. She held the wooden charm and smiled in the darkness. Tomorrow would come, and with it, Adrian. The ending, the days with Adrian passed like a dream. Every evening Lena went to the lake, and every evening he was there, waiting for her. Their laughter filled the quiet forest. Their whispers melted into the sound of water. It felt endless, as if the world outside could never touch them. But one night, Adrian's face was serious. He held her hands tightly. "Lena, my uncle wants me to return home. He says my family needs me. Tomorrow I must go." The words cut into her heart. "Go?" she whispered. "But what about us?" Adrian's eyes were full of pain. "I don't know. I only know that meeting you has been the most beautiful thing in my life." Tears filled Lena's eyes, but she tried to smile. She gave him the wooden charm he had once carved. "Then keep this, so you will not forget me." He shook his head and pressed it back into her hand. "No, you must keep it. And remember that somewhere, under the same stars, I will think of you." The moon rose above the trees, bright and silent. They stood in the clearing, holding each other for the last time. No promises, no plans, only the strong, painful sweetness of love that could not stay. When Adrian finally walked away into the night, Lena stayed by the lake. She listened to the forest, to the water, to the beating of her own heart. And though sadness filled her, she knew their story would live forever inside her. Quiet, deep, and true, like the roots of the oldest trees.